if I were you, I'd be sitting there going, hey, a simple thank you would be appreciated. You
Listen,
don't have to, but
here's the
you know.
thing. I don't, Max, I don't need to thank you because I'm shown to thank you every time I walk in the building. It's not about what you say. It's about what you do. All this stuff comes down to how much of a tax are you actually willing to pay? I just saw Mark Lazary on a show the other day, and he said as an owner of a team, you have two choices to make. Do you want to make money, or do you want to win?
And Mark Cuban has said the same thing. Winning and making money is two different things in the NBA. Once again, Jeanie Buss trying to hold the Lakers up to that winning standard that her father had set. In today's NBA is an expensive and very complex task. She cannot hire guys like Rob Pelinka to make that happen. She's going to have the scouting department of a San Antonio Spurs, a Miami Heat, and also a shark of a GM to actually nail on the proper stars to surround those players with. There's barely any room for mistakes. Look at Luka Doncic. He has that 10-year Supermax contract coming up where he's going to make anywhere from $70 to $80 million plus a year. So right now we're about to see if the Lakers could become the first team in the NBA under these new rules to have a 10-year Supermax player and build around that guy while not trying to touch the second apron. So to have a winning formula, it's real complicated in today's NBA, and that's the standard that Jeanie understands with her owning the Lakers and just living up to her father's legacy. It was going to be very complex to have. The Buss family historically loves to hire internal people. And right now they are on the trajectory of success because Mark Walter is going to have that franchise in prime position to get the best of the best of just front office people in the scouting department, analytics, best medical staff, and just kind of restructure this whole Lakers organization to actually put them in a prime window of just being that same team in the 80s that can win consistently.
Those were his words, not mine.
Sure.
I've never owned a team. He has. And so for me in my position as the representation,
Joe Lacob wants to win.
Joe Lacob wants to win.
Joe Lacob wants to win. He'd love to make
Listen.
money, I'm sure, but he wants to win.
When the Cavaliers went on that 4-year run to the finals, Dan, I tip my hat to the man. He gladly paid the tax. But his team was winning. They were competing for a championship every year.
That right there does not get talked about enough. Even though Dan Gilbert is considered in a quote-unquote small market with the Cavaliers, he was paying that crazy luxury tax bill even 2 to 3 seasons after LeBron James left. I'm making reference to when LeBron James went to LA, not when he went to Miami. So that team with Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love after LeBron James left was paying crazy luxury tax bills. And who knows, maybe LeBron James from the outside looking in before joining the Lakers, he thought they would operate in the same manner, and he probably got inside the building and realized this is a mom and pop operation, and it's really not the case. Once again, the media narrative is that the Lakers were kind of being cheap about hiring Tyronn Lue.
I tip my hat to the man. He gladly paid the tax. But his team was winning. They were competing for a championship every year. Now, sometimes you can do that and not pay as big of a tax. But at the end of the day, all this is business.
And the business has been good for both Jeanie Buss and LeBron James. The Buss family was able to be in a position where they could sell the team for a crazy amount of money. And also LeBron James, his celebrity is actually 10 times bigger than what it was when he first arrived in LA. That LA market overall has allowed LeBron to extend and grow his media empire, partnering up with Turner Sports and also some multi-international production companies for exclusive rights to some of his behind-the-scenes coverage. And last but not least, we're going to hear from the man himself, Baxter Holmes, as this article on this Laker dynamic has been hitting the algorithms and causing up a stir. Baxter Holmes touched base on the LeBron dynamic that was sort of inserted into this article. Once again, this is a Cold War tactic right here by Jeanie Buss as she's countering some of the noise that's coming from that Rich Paul podcast. And LeBron James understands that he is going to get a lot of arrows coming his way in his last year in LA. So why not jump ahead of it? And also, I'm going to say this. Jeanie Buss, as an NBA owner, might not be used to a player having this much power, especially over the media, than she has at this moment. I don't know if some of these celebrities are paying certain firms to be on Forbes's list, but the way the media puts the net worth of LeBron out there, I would say in the past couple years, it's a lot higher than each member of the Buss family. And we really never seen this before, where a current active player has a higher net worth than some of the owners of the team. I should say publicized net worth, because the way Forbes put El Chapo on that list, either they sent someone down there in Mexico to count that cash underneath the dirt, or that shit is pay for play.
In some years after their championship in 2020, and even after the Western Conference Finals in 2023, people in the organization described, seeing Jeanie sort of change and becoming more consumed with criticism of her or the organization, taking things personally and so on. And what those people said was, Jeanie had been known for in the past turning against people who had been important to the Lakers, important to her, whether it was Jerry West in the past, whether it was firing her own brother, Jim Buss, in 2017. So they had noticed a pattern, and they had seen also that pattern emerge more and more, especially by that time with LeBron James. But the framing of the tension with LeBron was more about Jeanie and a time period of seeing her, as people told me, change. And so that was the framework that we felt it was important to include. Look, people in the organization describe like seeing Jeanie kind of change and also wondering if she had reached a tipping point, and that all of this, some of the things that you had just mentioned, does she just want to sell and get away from this? And ultimately, that's what happened. And I've had people ask me, like, how does this impact LeBron? Do you see him on the Lakers before? I mean, look, his contract is up after this season. He's 41. I think his health is going to be a huge factor with everything, especially at someone his age and the amount of miles on his body. He's obviously played, for anybody his age, like he's playing at an incredible level. So I don't know where it kind of holds, but certainly as I learned more through my reporting, these things have been going on for a while. It's been a lot. I was standing probably 5 feet away from Magic Johnson when he suddenly resigned from the Lakers. And that remains one of the most, unbelievable is a word that gets thrown around a lot, but that remains one of the most unbelievable moments of my reporting career. But yes, everything from, some of the things you mentioned to certainly to now, and some of the things I've learned about, and very little of them have anything to do with basketball or with like winning on the court. It's been all these other things. It's been a lot.
And it definitely has been a lot for Jeanie to carry on her shoulders, because she is carrying that legacy of what her father previously did. Even the fallout with Magic Johnson just quickly resigning before he was about to get fired from that president of basketball operations role that he was in. There's been quite a few things throughout the years that has kind of hurt that branding that the father had built from the 80s, just the Lakers being known as that gold standard franchise. At the end of the day, Jeanie did well. Is that sometimes in life you have to adapt and just evolve. And the NBA right now is almost a multi-billionaire level game. And there's nothing they could really do about it. It's unfortunate because a lot of their childhood identities is surrounded by that purple and gold logo. And we got to remember the human element to this. It would be hard for anyone to shrug off an identity that they spent most of their livelihoods building up until their 40s and 60s, especially when it's tied to a family member. That's the hardest part of it. And there's truly no amount of money that could really alleviate that. And this story shows that to the T. It's across multiple generations, from the youngest brothers all the way up into Jeanie and her 4 older siblings. The childhood memories just being around the Lakers, the father's ambitions, It's a sad and rejoiceful story at the same time, because now they can move on. They can actually be free to build their own identities. It's just life. You got to evolve. It is what it is. You guys hit up the link in the description below. Check out my NBA True Story playlist. There's plenty of nuanced stories just like this. And until next time, you fellas stay safe. Peace.